Welcome back to CIA Declassified. We've seen the heavy armor of Operation Timber Sycamore, but today we travel back to a secret war fought with microphones and masonry. In 1960s Laos, Vientiane, that's the capital, was a nest of spies. While bombs fell on the Ho Chi Minh Trail, the agency was obsessed with a specific building, the North Vietnamese Embassy. They didn't want to blow it up. They wanted to hear every whisper inside. This required a daring technical penetration that would make a heist movie look like child's play. This was Operation Steakhouse. To get inside a fortress, the agency used a neighboring property and a whole lot of drills. Operation Steakhouse was a CIA technical surveillance operation in Vientiane, Laos. Again, that's the capital, involving the tunneling and drilling into the North Vietnamese Embassy from an adjacent safe house. A quote from a declassified CIA memoir by Tony Mendez: "The goal was a technical penetration, placing audio devices in the walls of the embassy without the North Vietnamese ever knowing we were there. It was a masterpiece of clandestine engineering." End quote. The agency utilized listeners' highly sensitive contact microphones that were placed into the brickwork after technicians drilled through 18 inches of concrete from the safe house side. A quote from a declassified 1969 progress report. Phase 1 of Steakhouse is complete. The audio feed from the ambassador's dining room is clear, providing insights into North Vietnamese strategic coordination with the Pathet Lao. Pathet. The archives reveal that the agency established a kitchen in the safe house where they cooked high-smelling foods like steaks and onions to mask the smell of industrial lubricants and the dust generated by drilling into the embassy walls. The name Steakhouse was chosen because the operation's cover involved a supposed upscale restaurant being renovated next door to the diplomatic compound. A quote from an internal TSD manual. Remember, that's the CIA's scariest department, the Technical Services Division. Audio surveillance in a humid environment like Laos requires specialized sealants to prevent tropical moisture from shorting out the microphones. End quote. The logs show that the agency utilized borescopes, tiny fiber optic cameras, to see through the final layer of plaster before planting the listening devices. Technological breakthroughs included the passive resonator, a bug that required no batteries and was activated by an external microwave beam, making it nearly impossible for the North Vietnamese to detect with standard sweeps. The declassified files show that Operation Steakhouse successfully intercepted the North Vietnamese codebooks because the staff discussed cipher changes during lunch. The archives reveal that the CIA used vibrators, seismic dampeners, to cancel out the vibration of their drills so the embassy staff wouldn't feel the walls shaking. The operation required wall matching, where technicians meticulously painted the safe house side to look like a standard storage room in case of a surprise inspection by local Laotian authorities. Operational breakthroughs included the air purifier, a system that sucked the dust from the drill bits directly into a water filter to ensure not a single speck of white plaster ended up on the embassy's floor. A quote from a declassified 1971 evaluation. The intelligence gathered via Steakhouse provided the primary basis for our understanding of the logistics behind the North Vietnamese spring offensive. End quote. The logs confirm that a decoy was set up, a fake burglary at the safe house, to explain any strange noises to the neighbors while the final microphones were being set. By 1972, the steakhouse, Safe House, was connected to a secret radio relay station on a nearby mountaintop, allowing real-time transmission of the embassy's private dining conversations directly to agency analysts. Quote from a Declassified Office of Strategic Services records. The Vientiane penetration represents the highest standard of technical entry achieved in the Southeast Asian theater, bypassing triple redundant physical security, end quote. The records specify that the agency technicians used a silent drill, a custom-built low RPM device designed to grind through stone without emitting the high-pitched whine of standard construction equipment. Internal memos describe the masonry plug, a specialized compound used to fill the drill holes behind the microphones that matched the exact chemical density of the embassy's original mortar to defeat thermal imaging. The Operation Steakhouse team included several linguists from the Langley Translation Unit who worked in 4-hour shifts to provide immediate summaries of intercepted North Vietnamese orders. While the drilling techniques are now public, the most significant redactions in the release appear in the Vientiane Guest Manifest and the Biochemical Observation Annex. In fact, the most heavily redacted sections, where 90% of the pages are solid black, revolve around the dietary intervention phase. Why were the agency's doctors so interested in the embassy's menu? Get ready for the theory of the poison platter. Speculation suggests Operation Steakhouse used Langley culinary toxins to slowly brainwash foreign diplomats. The rumor is that the redactions in the Safe House supply chain hide the purchase of experimental drugs designed to make the target more talkative during meals, and the black bars hide the recipe for compliance that was supposedly added to the embassy's water supply through shared pipes. What if the waiters were Langley androids? A dark rumor suggests the CIA replaced the staff of high-end Vientiane restaurants frequented by the diplomats with early cybernetic spies. The theory claims the redactions in the personal biodata hide maintenance logs for the maitre d', alleging that the agency had developed skin-like polymers as early as 1968 to hide recording equipment inside human decoys. Looking at the acoustic reflection logs, the redactions are dense. Some believe this hides Project Silent Echo, where the agency used the Langley steak smells to carry encoded audio signals that could be picked up by bugs inside the embassy without using radio waves. That one doesn't seem to make too much sense, but I like to incorporate all the conspiracy theories I can find when I'm going through this section of the podcast. The frequency fork theory suggests the redactions in the silverware inventory hide lacy resonant plates that, when hit with a certain microwave frequency, acted as speakers to broadcast subliminal messages to the diplomats while they ate. The embassy waste analysis is almost entirely blacked out. Gossip suggests this masks the discovery of non-terrestrial DNA in the North Vietnamese trash, with the redactions hiding the agency's panic over infiltration from another world. Hidden behind the ink of the logistical procurement files, some claim the CIA was actually serving Langley synthetic meat created in a lab to monitor the biological reactions of the North Vietnamese leadership, with the redactions masking the cellular feedback results. Looking at the blacked-out beverage distribution logs, theorists argue that the CIA used Langley nanobugs floating in the diplomats' wine, These microscopic sensors would supposedly attach to the vocal cords to record speech from the inside, with the redactions hiding the ingestion success charts. The Vientiane shadow world theory posits that the redactions in the safe house power grid hide the use of a Langley chrono lens. This device allegedly allowed the CIA to see 5 minutes into the future of the embassy dining room to know exactly when to start recording, with the black bars protecting the temporal lag data. Gossip suggests the redactions in the protein analysis section hide the fact that the agency used DNA sequencers to identify the home provinces of every embassy staffer by the specific bacteria in their digestive tract, with the black ink protecting the geographical mapping results. And lastly, some whisper that the redactions hide the fact that the embassy was actually empty the whole time, and the agency was listening to a ghost loop designed by the KGB to drive the CIA technicians insane with boredom. Was Operation Steakhouse a success? Tactically, it was a resounding success. The agency maintained the audio link for over 3 years without discovery. It is considered one of the most successful black bag jobs of the Cold War. Strategically, it was a vital piece of the puzzle. While it didn't win the Vietnam War, it provided the NSA with the keys to North Vietnamese diplomatic traffic for years. The technical heritage of Steakhouse laid the groundwork for how the CIA bugs embassies to this very day, presumably. As far as technological and operational breakthroughs go, the chef's secret changed the art of the eavesdrop. For instance, non-destructive entry, the refinement of drilling that could penetrate reinforced concrete without leaving a trace on the opposite side. Acoustic camouflage, the first intentional use of culinary masking to hide the sounds of heavy machinery in an urban environment. Passive surveillance, breakthroughs in passive resonators that didn't emit a detectable signal until targeted, and remote fiber optics, the first field use of borescopes for visual confirmation behind diplomatic barriers. Operation Steakhouse shows us that for the agency, a shared wall is just an invitation. As the files reveal, sometimes the most important secrets are the ones discussed between bites of dinner. Thanks for listening, and be sure to join us next time as we examine Project B0. In the search for non-kinetic warfare, the agency looked at the food supply. Project B0 was a study using microwave pulses to disrupt the circadian rhythm of honeybees. We'll uncover the frequency emitter, we'll look at the dead orchid trials, the electronic hive control, and the moment the agency realized that they could starve a target nation by simply confusing its pollinators. Join us next time for the silent spring. In the meantime, I'll see you in the archives.